Hi, welcome back to Anna's Solo Sessions. Today we have another episode of Nerd Therapy, and today's episode is titled Greta in the Dreamhouse. So we're going to be talking about the new Barbie movie, which is coming out next week, July 21st of 2023. So let's go. Now, before we begin, I would like to state that I am a big Barbie fan. But I must clarify, I'm a big Barbie movie fan because there are two types of Barbie fans. There's the fans who like the Barbie movies, like the OG Barbie movies, because we grew up watching them. And then there's the Barbie dolls fans who collect these dolls like for a living because they really enjoy the fashion and the accessories and all of it. And I would love to be a Barbie doll fan, but I don't have the money to become one. Like, I admire them from a distance, so I'm stuck with just being a Barbie movie fan. So now what role did the Barbie movies have on my childhood? I was born in the 2000s, so I basically grew up with the OG Barbie movies. The Nutcracker, Barbie Fairytopia, The 12 Dancing Princesses, The Princess and the Pauper. All of these movies were rooted deep into my subconscious as a child. I remember I still have all the Barbie DVDs, which most of them are unplayable because I overplayed them so much. So I feel like I have the proper knowledge to judge this film. Just based on the fact that I have been watching Barbie movies since the day I was born. And now I love Barbie movies. I love almost all of them. There are some more recent ones that I truly don't enjoy, but that can be another episode. I still don't know. Okay, so part one of this analytic endeavor. Greta G in the Dreamhouse. So Greta is mostly known for exploring the complexities of human emotion in her films. If you look at Little Woman, Lady Bird, and all of her previous work, she will give depth, flaws, vulnerabilities to her characters, which somehow makes them more relatable, doesn't make them two-dimensional, which is why I'm really excited to see what she does with the Narnia films, because those characters were super one-dimensional. They did not have any depth. So if she does make the Narnia films, I hope she gives them complexities, just makes them better. Okay, so moving on. Common themes in her movies are identity, self-discovery, coming of age. So I'm just wondering, will this movie be the next Mean Girls, for the newer generation? Will it have that impact? I think it will. From what I've seen, the trailers, it's coming in strong. Another thing Greta has in her movies is a quirky sense of humor and witty dialogue. So I'm kind of envisioning her adapting the Barbie film with a Barbie in the Dreamhouse sense of humor. If you haven't watched that series, it's on Netflix. Basically, the Barbie in the Dreamhouse is so unhinged, is from where all the TikToks sounds come from. It acknowledges the fact that they themselves are plastic. They break the fourth wall. It's so funny. If you have an opportunity to watch it, go watch it. I also believe some of the episodes are free on YouTube, so you might want to check that out. And finally, another most common theme in Greta's movies are feminism. Feminism, the fight for equality and, women's rights. So, the title itself kind of gives it away. Barbie. Who is Barbie? Barbie is the woman that can do it all. So I am excited to see what else she can bring to the table, because from what we know, Barbie is a really complex character already. She is an actress, she has like 100 million careers. She is also sweet, but she is strong-headed, So I'm wondering what kind of vulnerabilities and like flaws she will add to the character, because like in the movies and especially in like the series now, Dreamhouse Adventures, you cannot truly see any flaws aside from the fact that she's still growing and is still like learning. And the fact that Barbie is really clumsy. Like she's truly clumsy in almost all the series. So that aside, I don't know what else could be characterized as a flaw for Barbie. So that would be very interesting to see. Um Next, moving on to speculations along the storyline. So what we know from the trailer we've seen is Barbie and Ken embark on the adventure of going on to the real world. According to, I believe this is Wikipedia, but anyways, the storyline. Barbie and Ken are having the time of their lives in a colorful, seamlessly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living amongst humans. Now, this is a pretty new, well, I wouldn't say new concept. I mean, we've seen it with, I think it was Life Size, Tyra Banks. Just toys coming to life in the real world. Which I want to see first. I want to see if when Barbie and Ken come out into the real world, I'm not sure if they will come out either in New York or in Malibu, because Barbie is from Malibu. Like her house is there, so I don't know if Barbie Land is the equivalent to Malibu. That's just like a question I'm having. Now, the plotline in of itself does ring a bell to other previous Barbie movies. Whom, if you haven't watched these, it's okay. I'll explain the plots a little bit. So first off, Barbie and the Nutcracker, the first ever Barbie film, talks about Clara. Her aunt gives her this nutcracker for Christmas, and she falls asleep, and she has like this wonderful adventure with the Nutcracker in like his magical realm. And then she comes back, and then things happen. She meets him in the real world. It's pretty confusing. But anyways, so in this storyline, Barbie travels to a magical world, having come from the real world. So that interchangeable, I wouldn't say it's the same plot line, but it's kind of the same, just opposites. Same with Barbie and the Pink Shoes, which was released in 2013. Barbie and the Nutcracker is from 2001. Just forgot to say that. Anyways, Barbie and the Pink Shoes. Barbie is having this recital, and she likes to dance her own, to the beat of her own drum. But the choreographer, she doesn't like having her choreography changed. Which, by the way, I agree. Barbie, what the hell are you doing changing the choreography? This is a woman's work. Anyways, so she goes on, puts new ballet shoes, and the shoes transport her and her friend into a magical world that combines a lot of ballets. We have Swan Lake. I think it was also the Ice Princess or the Ice Queen or something like that. Basically, if Into the Woods was a ballet, that would be it. The storyline in the magic world. And she goes on the adventure to find herself, to find her rhythm, and she discovers that she doesn't have to follow any choreography but her own. Which, if we had compare it to the premise of this new film, I believe that's going to be the route they take. Barbie going into the real world to discover herself because she has lost sense of who she is and what it takes to like feel alive. But I don't know, maybe they pop us out with something new, you know? And lastly, Barbie Video Game Hero in 2017. This movie, I recommend you watch the previous two. This movie is really weird when it comes to animation, but the storyline is actually pretty good. So Barbie is Barbie Roberts, the influencer content creator that we know and love, but she also happens to be really into video games, and once she's playing this video game, but she encounters like a glitch and she travels inside the video game, kind of like what was the name of this film? Jumanji. So she has to defeat the enemies of the real video game in order to return to the real world. It's kind of weird. I could see that happening, like, but maybe not. Maybe the enemy doesn't really have to be destroyed in the real world as it does in all these films. So I don't know. I just wanted to point that one out for you. So I have it listed here. What my predictions for the movie, like, storyline is gonna be. Barbie goes to the real world only to discover life isn't like perfectly perfect. Life in plastic isn't perfect. That like imperfection is part of life, which I believe is a pretty common theme. Like we've seen it like a couple of times, but I think the way Greta has shown us she will undertake like this storyline in the videos we've seen, I think she will come up with some surprises. Moving on to Ken. Now I believe Ken will have a big role and big character development in this film, mainly because Ken in the Barbie lore, he doesn't have much going on aside from the fact that he is the boy next door who is in love with Barbie and is mostly stuck in the friend zone, but sometimes he isn't stuck in the friend zone. So it's gonna be interesting what else they do with him, because I believe Ken has a lot of potential. Like, me and some other fans have always been rooting for an only Ken movie. So if this movie goes right, I want Greta to do like a full-on only Ken movie. Like, he's just Ken. That's all that is to the movie. Just Ken. Now, moving on to my predictions and wish lists. A storytelling intro. I would love if Greta incorporated like a storytelling intro into this film, just because it makes homage to the OG Barbie films. If you remember Swan Lake, The Christmas Carol, Barbie and the Diamond Castle, just to name a few, they all begin with either Chelsea, I believe, or Stacy having problems in their real life, and Barbie being like, okay, but let me tell you a story that ultimately like led to a moral of the story, something they could put into practice in their own life. So I think that would just be the perfect homage to the original films. Because there's something I've noticed is that all like the Easter eggs and stuff I've seen of the movies, like sets and movie videos so far, they show a lot of Easter eggs to the Barbie dolls, but not so much to the Barbie movies. And I would hate for the Barbie movies to be left out of this film, because the film in of itself, it's going to be a big phenomenon, point blank, period. And it's going to bring a lot of new fans into the fandom. So I would like the new fans to discover the Barbie films, even though they aren't that good. The animation is pretty basic, but the storylines are there. So I just want like tiny Easter eggs so that more people can discover in the long run what Barbie films are and their gigantic like cinematic universe. But that's my point number one. Number two would be a musical moment. Now, most of the Barbie musical films, they just have that song that slaps. And I specifically want Will Ferrell to have his own villain song. I want him to have like the How Could I Refuse moment from him. How Could I Refuse is from The Princess and the Pauper. It's the I forgot his name. I have really bad memory. Okay, Preminger. So I would love for Will Ferrell to have his Preminger How Could I Refuse like moment villain song, but I haven't heard anything if this movie will be like a musical. I've seen a few of like the tracks that they released from the soundtrack, but I haven't like seen if any of them are truly like musical tracks, like songs, which is kind of concerning because I like my favorite Barbie films are probably the musicals, and I just like when you think Barbie, you think of musicals. That's it. So I just would love at least a villain song, please. Number three, this isn't kind of like a wish list or a prediction, just something that if she adds to it, I'll be like pretty happy, even though it would be pretty horrible. I wrote annoying sidekick or cursed character. Now, inside the Barbie lore, in all films, there's always an annoying sidekick. Usually tends to be like the animal sidekick or a cursed character, like a character whose animation is truly bad, that just becomes a meme in the fandom. So that's it. I mean, if she adds it, I'm gonna be laughing my ass off. So, number four, a makeover scene or training montage. Now, what do I mean by a makeover scene? I want to see Barbie go from basic Barbie to elegant, opulent, perfect eleganza Barbie. I don't care what it takes. Some of the examples of actual good like makeover scenes are one, Mermaid Tale. That makeover scene where they're trying on all those tails is just super fun, and the music, bop. Now, Iceland Princess. Iceland Princess is probably one of those love-hate relationships when it comes to this makeover scene, basically because that song it's not great, but it also isn't terrible. Anyways, Barbie is having her dress design and all her animal friends are like helping her, and it turns out to be one of the prettiest like Barbie movie dresses in my opinion. And finally, Rapunzel. Now, if you ask any Barbie fan which is the best makeover scene, they will probably tell you Rapunzel. If you don't know Rapunzel, the storyline basically the same as Tangled, just instead of having magical hair, Rapunzel has magic paintbrush and she paints things and they become like reality. She points a portal into the outside world from her tower and she can go through and back. And she gets invited to a ball in the movie and she doesn't have anything to wear, so her friends decide, hey, why don't you just paint a dress? So she paints the dress and she walks into the wall, comes back, and she's wearing the dress and she's like, I don't like it, maybe I'll change it up a bit. So she starts painting on the dress and it just transforms the dress. She goes like over 3 transformations, of which I think like all of them are beautiful, and then she ends up with the dress that's like on the cover of the movie. It's so pretty, like this purple shiny long ball gown. Perfect. Now moving on. Now, what do I mean by a training montage? Similar to the one in Rocky, like the name gives it away, a training montage. A montage where she's training or she's like studying or something that like the character does over a long period of time, just shown really like simple and concise in a matter of 3 seconds. Some of the training montages I really like are the one in Princess Charm School when she's learning how to be more confident and have etiquette, and basically learning how to be a princess in a matter of 6 months. You get it all in like probably 3 minutes because it's one song. Um, Moving on to Magic of the Rainbow. This is actually like a real training song, like training montage. Sorry. Basically, you have all the. Well, let me explain what Magic of the Rainbow is. Basically, it's like the Hunger Games, but instead of killing each other, like the tributes have to learn how to work together in order to create like the rainbow of the summer in order to like maintain Fairytopia in its glory. Something like that. I haven't watched the film in a long time, but something like that. And they have to learn how to harness like the power of the rainbow. All these tributes, so they're all training, and some of them like really excel at something, some of them don't. And what I really liked about this montage specifically is you can see where each character like has their own like strengths and where it's still lacking. So it's kind of a way to put depth to characters in like a span of 3 minutes. And finally, Three Musketeers. This is one of my favorite Barbie films, and they have a training montage because they are musketeers, but they're training in secret because, God forbid, there are female musketeers. Anyways, they show like the girls getting better and better and better as time goes by, and that's it. Oh, and they also have like a makeover scene too, now that I think about it, which is actually pretty good. Anyways, that's what I mean but by a makeover scene or a training montage, which I believe she will do most. I think mostly she will only use the makeover scene because I don't see the point of doing a training montage. Like I couldn't see a part of the like plot line where she could have a training montage. Moving on, this one's really important to me and probably most of the like OG Barbie movie fan base. It's an almost lesbian moment, or a lesbian moment in of itself. If you don't know, we as a Barbie community, we ship Barbie with all of her friends, especially Teresa. And most of the films, like for example, Barbie and the Diamond Castle, there's actually like videos, essays of this. They kind of queer baited it a little bit, the color palettes, the her and like the both Barbies walking over a rainbow where men aren't invited. Like it's just a lot. If you want to find out more, I suggest looking at videos on YouTube. It's really fun and really interesting. But yeah, an almost lesbian moment because we all know that Barbie is a woman of the people. She loves everything. So I want to see Barbie like maybe explore her sexuality a bit, like discovering she not only likes Ken but she also likes Teresa, But I don't know. Probably she will stay only with Ken for the sake of this film, but if there was like a lesbian moment or like a bisexual moment, I would be pretty happy. Moving on. I think this one is for certain. This is gonna happen. It's gonna be iconic fashion. And I wrote I wrote also something that's literally unfunctional but looks stunning. And this is something that we see in various Barbie films where Barbie like has a dress that you can tell that if someone wore that in real life, it'd be pretty uncomfortable. It'd be like you couldn't move in that, but it looks stunning. So I just want to see iconic fashion, which from what I've seen, it's already happening. So I'm happy with that one. I like to see breaking the fourth wall. kind of like Deadpool, which is something the Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse series did a lot. Like they would break the fourth wall out of nowhere, which I find pretty hilarious, but some people don't. And I don't know if this film will do that, just because it looks like it's like pretty serious on being like a complex storyline. So I don't think we'll get like a storytelling intro nor a breaking the fourth wall moment. Moving on, Ken sub story. I would love to see like Ken having his own storyline, just finding himself, because from what we've seen in interviews and the trailers, Ken doesn't know what else there is to life than being Barbie's boyfriend. And there's nothing wrong with being, a simp or anything, but if you lose yourself in the process of having a relationship, then that's not a relationship. You just basically sold your soul for this person. And that's not how a relationship should work. A relationship is 50-50. Both persons should know who they are in order to be able to love themselves and love the other person unconditionally. So I believe this film will probably explore more of Ken and like what are his hobbies aside from surfing and looking stunning. Like what else is there to him? I hope they take some of the Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse Ken for this movie, because Ken in Life in the Dreamhouse, yes, he is a simp, but he's also Barbie's best friend. Like you can tell by their chemistry, they are bestest friends. They're like Ken knows more than Barbie that Barbie does of herself. But also Ken is really smart, even though he has like his stupid moments. He is like an engineer, he creates things. Like Ken actually built Barbie's dream house and Barbie Life in the Dream House. Like that's how dedicated but also like work motivated he is. Because come on, who else builds a house for someone else? So yeah, I hope Ken and Ryan Gosling have like the best character development. If they don't, I'm gonna be this one is the only one that if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. Another point I wrote is self-aware of reality. Basically going back to my like prediction of the storyline, just being aware that what they had lived in Barbie world wasn't real, because it didn't have the emotions like we do in here in real life, in the real world. So that's easy one. Another one I wrote is plot holes. So what do I mean by plot holes? The Barbie movies, especially the earlier ones, were very famously known to have many like plot holes. There were just things that they will never explain and never go over, So I think it would be pretty funny to have like plot holes that just don't go anywhere, because why should you care? Life is perfect here in Barbie world. Why would you care? There is no plumbing, so like stuff like that. I think it would be pretty funny. And last one are Easter eggs. I hope she puts on Easter eggs from the Barbie films, not only the Barbie dolls and Barbie history. No, I mean Barbie films, which are like the essence of Barbie. Sure, the Barbie doll has been pretty famous for its own right, but Barbie films, like this is the Barbie movie. Why shouldn't you pay homage to the Barbie movies that came before you, So I do hope that Greta puts on some kind of Barbie Easter eggs from movies past, maybe a nutcracker, or maybe a ballet slippers from like the 12 Dancing Princesses or something. I don't know. There's a lot to take into. Like there are like 40 movies you can look up. So I hope at least some of the most known films get an Easter egg. I just hope. I wish. If that doesn't happen, I'm gonna be kind of pretty disappointed. So I just hope. I hope Greta has put on some Easter eggs for us. And moving on to characters and the casting. Starting off easy, we have Margot Robbie as Barbie, which I think is spectacular casting by whoever did the casting. I don't know, we like the Barbie community, we've been fan casting Barbie for decades. So I think Margot Robbie was one of the main actresses that kept coming up in those fan castings, so I'm happy with that one. And I also wrote that her outfits, like on the whole premiere tour, have been serving and paying homage to the Barbie doll. Like, Margot Robbie came here to serve, and she gave us a full buffet. Okay? She was given an assignment, and she not only like did the assignment, she went in for the extra credit. Like, she has been pulling up like dresses from the archives, like Barbie archives, Barbie dolls that have been limited edition, only sold like in Thailand, and she has been serving them so gracefully, and that's actually something I'm very thankful for, because sometimes there are actors and actresses that don't actually care enough for the character to actually pay homage to them, and Margot Robbie has been going above and beyond to bring this character to life, and honestly, I just feel so grateful for that, because Barbie has been my comfort character since day one. So of course, me and most of the Barbie movie fans are going to be pretty hesitant when it comes to a live action remake, especially after the disaster the Bratz movie was. So, I mean, we're just holding on to hope that it doesn't end up in failure, which I honestly think it won't, but we're holding on strong to that hope. Moving on to Ryan Gosling as Ken. Now, I love Ryan Gosling, I really do, but I do have a problem with his casting. And not his casting, like, he could be a really great Ken, don't get me wrong, but I'm more enraged with, like, the makeup and hair department, because Ken wasn't blonde. Sorry to break it to you, but Ken wasn't blonde. In the beginning, he was brunette. Like, in the movies, at least, he became blonde in 2010. That's a decade of films where Ken is brunette. And when Ken became blonde, he was like a dirty brunette blonde. Like, he wasn't ice popsicle blonde. Like, those frosted tips went over frosted. Like, his hair is no longer blonde, it's basically bleached white. So that's my only concern, because he does look weird. The white hair makes Ryan Gosling look more orange than he already was, which Ken wasn't orange. Like, Ken was white. He wasn't like our favorite brunette Caucasian boy from next door. So, yeah. Oh, I have it written here. Ken didn't become a blonde till Fashion Fairy Tale in 2010. So yeah, that's 10 years of Ken serving us brunette fantasy. So that was like a pretty big thing for me when we saw like the cast pictures, like when it first came out. I was like, I don't know, he's not my Ken. My Ken is brunette, and he's tall, and he's strong, but he's also sweet, and he's brunette. So yeah, I'm quite stubborn on these things, and they really bug me. But I'm sure once I watch the film and absolutely love it, I will not care if Ken was blonde or brunette. Moving on, I have a note here that says, will we see Chelsea, Skipper, and Stacy? Now, if you are not in par or knowledgeable on the Barbie lore, Barbie Roberts, that's her like last name, has three sisters, which are Skipper, Stacy, and Chelsea. And they have been appearing in, I think, since day one from the Barbie films, except Barbie and the Nutcracker. That didn't have an appearance from anyone. So I think the first one was Swan Lake. Might be wrong, but anyways, her younger sisters have played a big role in a lot of the films. Most of the storytelling films began because one of the younger sisters was having a problem, and that's how Barbie, introduced the story. And in recent films where it's like the Dreamhouse adventures, they all play their role. They all have character development, Even Chelsea has her own movie now. So I want to see like her little sisters just come to their own in this. I mean, they don't have to have character development. I'm not asking for that, but just having them on screen, at least. I wonder if Greta will also include like the mom and dad, or somebody of like her extended family. I don't know. I mean, because I'm also concerned because everybody is named Barbie. Like, there's Barbie and there's Ken. Like, you're either a boy or a girl. That's about what we're saying. So I don't know. I would also could see what is her name? I could also see Kate McKinnon. I hope I'm pronouncing that one right. Kate McKinnon be Aunt Millicent, which is like the fun, quirky, crazy aunt in the Barbie universe. So that could be fun, but I don't know. Oh, or will we see like Raquel from like Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse, or like give us? I just want the Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse characters to come to life because they are so funny. So I don't know. I mean, from what we know right now, there's only Barbie and there's only Ken. So time will tell if another like character from the archives of the Barbie movie lore will come out. And finally, I wrote here, I hope this film will bring more fans to the OG Barbie films because they deserve love and respect too. Like, they're always crossed out as having bad animation and being for girls and being for children. Like, even if it's for children and even if the animation's bad, we can still appreciate it for what it is. It's like watching Spy Kids or Shark Boy Lava Girl as an adult. Like, yeah, it like the animation and the storyline kind of suck, but it's entertaining and it reminds us of our childhood. So I hope and I wish it will bring more fans to the fandom. And lastly, this is just a question, which I think if Barbie works, we will probably get a Bratz live action remake, because the Bratz live action movie that came out like in 2006 was horrible. So yeah, I could see like the more now because Bratz has become like more on trend, like on social media. They're releasing like their own clothing collaborations and makeup collaborations, and they're re-releasing dolls. So I could see them like working behind the scenes, like creating a storyline too. But I hope that they don't create a similar storyline to what the Barbie movie is releasing next week. I hope they come out with their own storyline, So yeah, I'm excited to see the Bratz movie when they remake it. I know they're gonna remake it, so I just hope it's good. It's better than the original because the original sucked. Anyways, so I will report to you back once I see the Barbie film. Until then, have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Barbie movie celebration, I guess. Wear pink, get your nails done, put on your best makeup, and go watch this film in theaters July 21st, 2023. And you can go watch it after watching Oppenheimer. I love that trend. So yeah. Bye.